All right, so now we're going to look at tests. So during the travel, you have a variety of tests to take. So for example, here, so I'll show you the procedure. So the AI will have his own deck, the players also. During travel, you never reshuffle your discard pile into your deck unless specified otherwise or unless you take a rest action. Um, the AI also abides by the same rules. So during travel, at the end of each battle, you'll reshuffle all the decks and everything. But until you have a physical fight where you set up a battle map and everything, you don't touch the discard piles of the tests. So when I travel, let's say it says, okay, well, you encounter, I don't know, a merchant, you need to take a strength test, or sometimes tests will be directed at the captain, so the captain must take the test. So, for example, here, let's say so I'll take one of my units here. It says, okay, well, you need to take a 5 difficulty wits test or willpower test. So, first of all, if I'm allowed, unless it's specified. If it's specified, you need to take the captain, then you have no choice. Otherwise, you can normally you can choose the unit within your warband to do that tests, and the test will specify a difficulty. So, for example, a 5 difficulty test. So you do the difficulty of the test minus the attribute tested. So, for example, here, if it says, okay, take a 5 difficulty initiative test, so it would be 5 minus 3, so the test difficulty would be 2. If it says, okay, you need to take a wits test, so a 5 difficulty wits test, so it's 5 minus 1 for the wits value, so that would be a 4 difficulty tests. So once you know the test will specify which aspect you test and which difficulty. So there might be difficulty 4, difficulty 6 tests. So you do the difficulty minus the indicated stats, and based on the difference, this will determine the difficulty of the test. So if the difference is 0, it's an automatic success. The difficulty is 1, easy, medium, hard, tough, and very tough tests. So how the test works, it's a mini blackjack system. So first of all, the AI will determine, so for easy, it's automatic success, you skip it. For an easy test, he will take the top 2 cards of his discard pile and keep the lowest. So for example, here he would keep the 8. If it's a medium test, he just draws the top and keeps that. And if it's a hard test, he draws the 2, hard, tough, or very tough. He draws the 2 top cards and keeps the highest. So for example, let's say here I'll do a medium test for the example. So I would, well, in fact, let's reshuffle this. So I would draw for a medium test. So I would draw this. So that's worth 11 or 1, but the AI will always take the 11 in this case. Then you place, based on the difficulty, then the AI, if it's an easy, medium, or hard test, he just takes the top card, places it like this. If it's a tough test, he draws the top 2 cards. If it's a very tough test, he takes the top 3 cards. So a very tough test, he would have had 2 cards here, kept the highest, and the face down cards would have been here. But for a standard test, it would be just 1 card here, face down. And then the player, he reveals his cards until he decides to stop. So 10, 20. So of course I would stop here. It follows the blackjack rule. The joker is worth 10. So basically the figures are worth 10, including the joker, and the numbers are worth the number value. And basically your goal is to reveal getting closest to 21 without exceeding. If you exceed, you lose. So in this case, I would flip. Once the player decides to stop, then you flip the AI card. So here you would have 21. I would have 20, so I would have lost the test. In the case of a tie, you do another round. So for example, here, if it was a tie, well then we would start back. So you would draw one, keep the highest because it's still the same difficulty. And then I would have a 4, an 8, 12, and a 10. So I would have busted. So the AI will have won because the AI cannot exceed, cannot bust basically in that sense. So, and the key part of it is you don't reshuffle the decks, the discard pile after, so they stay there. So basically, if you travel, you do a few tests and everything, you might have some good cards in your discard pile. The AI also doesn't reshuffle, so if you know, oh, the AI has good cards in there, and if a player rests, so he spends the food, all players, they don't move, they just stay put. They put back the 5 top cards of the discard pile back into their deck and reshuffle. The AI will do the same. So when you rest, the AI rests as well in that situation, and then you both reshuffle the discard pile. That's only during a rest action. So these are the way the tests work. Uh, there are also quick fights. So the quick fights, if you fail a quick fight, all the units, so that's tested with the captain's battle combat attribute. And basically, if you fail, each unit will suffer 1 damage in the battalion. So the quick tests, you can start battles unless you have healed in between, but you could start battles with your units injured for during quick fights for that. And so that's basically the basic for the tests in the travel phase.